618, and I'm with Andrea Kis from Deloitte. Welcome. Good
Thank
to
you,
see
Bartley.
you. Haven't seen you for a while.
Oh, nice to see you too, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what you're doing these days. So you just joined Deloitte and working on a few exciting projects.
Yes, yes. So I joined Deloitte, and I have to say I'm very happy. Couldn't be happier. It's a very pleasant company. I have a fantastic team, and you know very well one of our senior directors, Nathan, who is an ITSM UK board member, and he's a fantastic person to lead our service management special interest group, and I would say like almost like a mini practice within the consulting area I belong to. And it's lovely to be surrounded with people with the right same interests.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you work in those kind of companies, they have their own ways of doing things. They have their own. I mean, we were on this panel this morning talking about frameworks, but actually, it's not about frameworks. It's more about practical stuff, how you get things done.
Exactly.
I mean, is that? I mean, do you find, because you work for one or two of the other bigger organisations, are those generally doing the same things, or are you finding that different companies have a different take in terms of the way that they get you to do stuff?
I think they all have their own flavor on things. So I obviously worked one of the largest Indian providers before. I have worked for a more niche, smaller consulting company, now Deloitte. And everybody has their own take and flavor on things. But one thing I really like is that when you see how they are able to utilize their knowledge, their expertise, and that's how they put their flavor on things, is I think is super valuable. And I really like that I feel that my expertise, my experience is something which can add to this. So it's not being viewed that you must and only follow a certain ways of working, but you know, bring in your own experience, mold it into it, bring it forward. And one thing I really love at Deloitte, and I'm very, very new, so my experience is still super, super fresh, is that I feel that I have a lot of support. I feel that there is a lot of interest, lots of curiosity, and lots of encouragement. So one of the first things I have done, because we have the special interest group meetings, I've done a VeriSM presentation to the team about what is VeriSM, how was I involved with it. And this is a type of a series of conversations where myself and my colleagues and the team, and led by Nathan, is very, very keen to learn more, to see and understand what's on the market. So we are not just pocketed away and following and doing the same things in the same way.
So just moving on to that, because you've been involved in the development of VeriSM, I've read the foundation book. There's lots of good stuff, interesting stuff. What I need to understand more, and I haven't been involved in using it, but if you are actually going to use it with an organisation, what would be the sort of 2 or 3 headline things that you would do that is specifically from VeriSM compared to any of the other models?
So today on the panel, we were talking about it, and I think all of us, yourself included, were vocal about it, how use the relevant framework, use the relevant methodology to the right environment. So VeriSM came up with the concept of the mesh. The mesh, we visualized it as something which is being very flexible and stretchable in any directions. And the way we looked at it is that when you design your approach, your operating model, or your process, or what you want to achieve, using that mesh mindset or framework is about how to plug in different frameworks, different tools, for the right environment, for the right governance, for the right technologies, the right strategies. And what we wanted to, and what the mesh also does, and this is in practical terms, is that if you start with, let's say, you start developing an ITIL-based process because this is what the requirement is, but then later on somebody says, yeah, but we have a need for DevOps, Agile. The mesh allows you that mesh approach to plug it in at any given point, to flex it, to make it approachable. So I think it's going to provide that help and guidance for people to almost liberate their thinking to say, oh my God, we can't just stop what we have done so far and put it away. It's not about that. It's about making sure that you carry on, you work with something, and you're able to flexibly add to this.
And is that actually calling out specific things like ITIL and DevOps and VRM and other things? I mean, because that's the bit I still can't quite get my head around. Because I mean, I understand that kind of, if you like, multi-matrix approach and flexible multi-matrix, and then works in a number of different environments. It's just what it's actually doing in that. Are you actually using elements from those specific models as opposed to just it's something that's been created?
Exactly. So VeriSM is not trying to compete or become a new ITIL, a new COBIT, a new something. VeriSM is more like the gluing element, the mesh, the all-approaching methodology which says don't throw away like there's a perfect English saying, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, keep it. So when people say, oh no, I don't want to do ITIL because it's right now, no, why? Look at it, which elements and part of ITIL are very useful for you? What else can you combine it with? Do you want to combine it with a demand management approach from VRM? Do you want to combine it with a COBIT element? Do you want to do DevOps? And this is what I think with VeriSM, the misunderstanding can be that it is a new framework. It's, in my eyes, but the other authors might not agree with me as much, in my eyes it's more like the assisting gluing element which provides you the mindset, the approach, the structure on how to use different frameworks together and what is the control and the governance around them. Because just to very quickly add to this, we can't just say, go ahead and use ITIL with DevOps, because what does it even mean? If we look about it and say, let's think, we have legacy technologies which require classic traditional change management, to which the rigor of the standard change management process in ITIL is perfectly suited. It's not old-fashioned, but it provides a good control, a good rigor. But in a DevOps environment, that won't be perfect. So then let's look at it. What is the control? What is the thing we're trying to achieve it, and how we combine them together? So I hope that explains it a little bit better.
In a very specific way, if that was going to be using an element of ITIL with DevOps, I mean, would that be taking, say, something like incident or change management and applying DevOps principles to it, or?
It's not like trying to apply the principles of one framework on the other. It's more like where and how do you find the connecting points between the two frameworks in order to achieve one outcome. So one of the areas, I'll give you an example. Let's say you work with a bank, like one of the big English banks, and they all have legacy systems which cannot be thrown out of the window. It has to be there, has to run. For those you already have, and quite a lot of the organizations and these banks can be very mature with the change, their release management processes. However, you also have mobile apps, you also have other type of banking services which require a different type of concept and principle to be managed with. So Agile, DevOps, Agile development is perfect, which changes the way how releases and changes are done for those particular type of services and applications.
Yeah.
But then how do you combine that everything together? Because your outcome is to deliver services well. That application which is developed in a quick agile way may be sitting and may have a requirement on a legacy infrastructure, which then requires a different type of process. So this is how we wanted to write it. So the VeriSM Foundation is more like about find your feet in the sea of many, many different frameworks and everything. How would you find the right controls? And VeriSM Practitioner is more about drawing in practical examples of people who applied it in real life, showcasing how they used the VeriSM approach, how they used the mesh, and what results they achieved. So
I mean, I was going to move on. Like, what's the next thing with that? And are you involved in that?
So I was involved with it, but due to my different, I would say, like requirements and changing jobs and everything, I'm going to be honest, I haven't been able to concentrate on it as much as I wanted to. I'm more in a reviewer and basis than actually authoring it. However, the key, I would say like the key architect group is the same people, but the feedback, the input coming from organizations who've done in practical ways, used it and trialed it, is coming in really well. So I have very big, how to say it, like I'm very excited, and I hope that the receptive end of the book, the people, the way we'll look at it will be a good one. Claire is the best positioned, Claire Abitur, to announce and tell more information about the practicalities, but I think it's going to be exciting. I've recently read it on LinkedIn that in Japan there is a Japanese company who posted in one of the VeriSM groups, posted about how they applied VeriSM to their organization, and now we are waiting for him. He actually promised to publish an English language paper, an article about it to showcase what did it mean in practice to them. So there will be some exciting things coming out soon, hopefully.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to that. Well, I mean, it's all exciting stuff going on at the moment, and it's nice to see you again.
Likewise.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Barclay.